Oh, Donna is coming too. Here she is. How wonderful. So we're waiting. I wonder if we're waiting for Nancy.
Carol is
Carolina
coming
is
and
coming.
Nancy.
And Nancy is
Here's
coming. Carolina,
Carol.
how lovely to see you.
Yeah, you have new haircut too.
I
Yeah.
do?
Yeah.
Who does? Are you talking to me?
Get a cut?
You had a new
Look at-
haircut.
Early.
It looks great, isn't it?
Well, Christian and I
Maybe.
have our haircut by the same person.
Oh, yeah.
Ah.
Did you tell him, Christy?
No,
Christian?
I didn't. No. It was just
My brother and sister-in-law were here, and she used to cut hair for a living. So
Oh, wonderful.
whenever she comes,
Yeah.
you know,
Haircut.
Oh, so great. That's wonderful.
yeah.
Hi, everybody.
I love it.
So
I love
I
it. It's
think I
perfect.
think we give us a few more minutes for Nancy to come in, and then we can get started. Here she
Donna
is,
just arrived. Nancy
right
just come
on
in.
time.
It's so wonderful to see you all.
It's lovely,
Absolutely.
isn't it? I love it.
And
There
there
she
she
is.
is.
There's
Nancy.
Nancy.
The
Nancy.
screen looks a little different today.
Oh my
It
God,
doesn't
and the great Janet have
everybody-
arrived too.
Yes, we're getting everybody. Martha's
Yeah.
coming in.
Yeah,
Oh,
Martha's
fantastic.
coming in.
Martha también also. How wonderful. We
Martha,
have
that would be
full
great.
attendance today.
Yeah.
to everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Nancy.
Martha,
Hi.
lovely to see you, darling. Very lovely to
Hi,
see you.
Martha.
Hello,
Hi.
Hi, darling.
Martha.
Martha, what's happening?
I have news to share. Walt is in eternity right now.
Okay.
Oh,
He passed about late October. It's just been one thing after another. So that's why I haven't gotten out the word. But I wanted to come share in person. That we had a beautiful week in the hospital. The floor at St. Margaret's was he was in critical care, but it was absolutely an amazing experience. We had our 33rd anniversary.
Wow.
While he was there, and renewed our vows as he was also anointed, and that was it affected the whole wing. I would say that was on because the nurses. When one nurse went out and bought a bouquet of flowers for him to give to me, and another one bought a chocolate cake to bring in so we could see.
How
And
sweet.
that's not expected at all. It was just totally how much his love and his peace was. He was very joyful about being out of pain I've been in pain for 3 years and never had enough medication that would you know it would make it maybe tolerable for a little while. But at least they there were able to give him the medication. He just came back alive in a whole different way. But he knew he was dying and said, I want hospice. And unfortunately, the last 10 hours of his life, they did move him to an inpatient hospice, but he didn't want to go because he really created a community there on that floor. I mean, the nurses came in to say goodbye and really had tears in their eyes. I mean, I saw every one of them with tears. So when he got to family hospice, he said, I'm getting out of here, and not by his body movements. And he got there about 4:30 or 5, and he entered the eternal in 2 2 o'clock or 2:50. So he wasn't even there 12 hours. But I shouldn't say but, I wouldn't treasure those. That was the hardest part of the whole thing. I mean the the unity emotion and also what I call the mystical experience of love. when I was reciting the vows within tears and cracks in voices and holding back this um, emotion and of depth, to say those vows at the end of a marriage, or I was thinking of Gibran's quote that's often used: Ever has it been that love knows not its own depth until the hour of separation.
Mhm.
And that's what I was feeling was total openness, total vulnerability, and receiving the giving and the receiving was then took me into both of us, I think, into the eternal now of that's all love is the movement of the giving and receiving. And you are in eternity when you're totally in that, nothing held back. Um, so that was a very special gift
Mhm.
to sense that poignant, very, very poignant. It's kind of like I wish we could live that in the now of life, but I realize I can live it in the now of life in a way that it opened my eyes to a lot of things that I had missed in him, and also seeing into myself in a whole new way. So it was really hard though. That morning that they transferred him, they didn't trust him till after, but that morning he put his hand on my face and he says, "Oh, I love you so much." And then he said, his eyes were sunglassy, and you all will get a kick out of this. He said, "I see your aura." I thought, aura? How does he even know that word? What do you mean you're seeing it? He never would use any of that language. So I realized he was really in a liminal space. And the glassy eyes are really saying you are in that space. And I was so stunned I didn't ask him what color it was. So uh, and and then he says, "I know what it's like now. I never understood it to be surrounded by friends and family." And that was the people in that corridor. And he, I think, thought his time was coming very close. So when I came back from lunch, there was this man, I don't even know who he is right now, who said, pack your husband's thing. He's going to be, ambulance going to be here to take him to family hospice. I said, no, he wants to die here. He said that over and over again. And the nurses were fine with it. But of course, the administration and the system has a whole other plan. And he sobbed. I never saw him ever in 33 years sob very, very briefly, but I could feel his heart was broken. And mine too, as a result. But um, the nurses came in to say goodbye, and they were all, as I said, had tears. And I think the contrast of going from a corridor where there was action and compassion and excellence of care, not that it was excellent. I mean, I hope I have such care in my end days, but when I walked into the family hospice, it was quiet, quiet, quiet. You couldn't hear a thing. There were 5 patients there, or in in I was going to say inmates, so it's almost kind of like, but that concept of hospice is provide a home kind of like environment. So there was a kitchen and there was, I mean, I think it's a beautiful, but the contrast was so stark that I said, well, he wants to be where there's some activity because he felt part of life that was going on outside because he always kept his door open. And they said, oh, we'll put him across from the nurses station. And well, the room is like a hotel as you walk in. And there's a big bathroom and then something else here. So you're walking along this corridor and the bed is back here. So there's nothing he's going to see outside his room at any time. Or nor are you going to hear because everybody's whispering. Um, but the puzzle for me at the end was there was a beautiful sunset. I'd never seen a sunset in Pittsburgh because I'd never seen the horizon. There's always trees or something. We were up high enough to see uh, Pittsburgh downtown and the North Hills, but we were only on the fourth floor, but we were able to see out, and the sunset was a almost like the burning bush, just fiery red, lighting up the sky. And as the sun went under the beyond the horizon, I turned to Walt and I said, "Your sun is setting." And I knew that it was going to be close by. But then a nurse came in and said, no, it's got good signs, got everything. The more I stayed in that room, not with him, but as soon as I walked in, I just felt this I can't, the energy that was very uncomfortable. I felt walking in there, this felt really empty compared to the where we had been. And when I walked into his room, he'd already been there. Didn't even see him, but I just stepped into the room and this isn't right. I just was a total feel of something not right. And so after the sunset, I sat with him and he didn't talk. I think he was right into that liminal space. And then about 10:30, I was going to ask for, I was thinking of, I was dealing with this real discomfort that even got to the point where I felt like I had to get out of there. That was get out, get out, get out. Is what kept coming on. I have to get out. And I couldn't understand it. I didn't know how, but I knew that I was so utterly vulnerable to energies around me. So at 10:30, I did leave and uh, still was wondering about what that is. And they called me at 2:50 and said, hurry down because he seems to be going very quickly. And all so I got there and he had already passed. And I spent 2 hours, though, because he was still warm, and I spent 2 hours with it. I could feel his spirit in the room. So that was so interesting that I didn't feel the urge to get out when I came back. So,
So Martha,
mhm.
my experience with people dying in that way is that sometimes they can't leave when they're so attached to somebody, and you actually have to leave the room, and you may just have been reading it that he needed you to go so that
Yeah.
he could go. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what I thought. I was picking up his energy, and I knew he wanted to get out of there. I saw he didn't want to go. He didn't want to leave the hospital. So he probably said, "Well, now is my time. I'm getting out." Uh, but there's another thing about that I also think is another energy that probably I was picking up. There was an orphanage about 40 or 50 years ago. I don't know if any Pittsburghers know that story. It's in Canterbury. It's a nursing home, but now they have one floor that is just for hospice. And uh, it was an orphanage, and there was a big fire on that floor. And I know there were not, I don't know if there were any survivals, but there were very, and there was, children were burned.
Mm.
And I wonder if that room had a child who couldn't get out, because the fact that I was saying I've got to get out of here. So those are the two meanings that I've been able to put to that Walt really was saying go, so he wouldn't feel that he was free to leave without leaving me, if you will. And the other, it could very well be because I can't imagine, and that would be the feel that someone would have. I've got to get out of here.
Mm.
If there's fire or flames or smoke or whatever. So that's a mysterious kind of end to a week that was phenomenal in in its care, compassion, love, peace, joy. I mean, there was joy. He was seeing the divine nature of humor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that lifts people out of their, if you can laugh, you transcend
Mm.
whatever's going on
Mm.
to join in the laughter. So
Thank
anyway, I just wanted to share this all with you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
So
much.
Thank you.
I'm
Yeah.
Martha, when you were talking about that moment, those moments that you had that there was nothing except you and your loved one,
mhm,
uh, that and how that is what we want here all
mhm,
the time, and how you recognize that that's the possibility for us.
mhm.
That is such a beautiful, powerful moment that you have shared.
And it's eternal. I
And
mean,
it went into all of our hearts as a reality because that is our reality. And our reality is that we're never apart. So
right. I
it's
I I felt I felt that I was in eternity because I think that's what it is, and I go there. That's where I'm meeting him right now. Yeah,
so
Yeah.
beautiful.
yeah.
And I want to just thank you so much for sharing that um
Yeah.
and I if we all had some libation, we could say cheers right now to Walt and
Yeah.
how to celebrate his life and celebrate your love together. And it was
Mhm.
just so powerful that you're sharing this with us. Thank you
Mhm.
so much.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You for the meaning
Mhm.
behind it all
Mm,
Mhm.
so much.
mm.
Well, I think it's lovely. Thank you for bringing all those beautiful, beautiful remembrances and expressions, Martha. We're all sharing with you your love
I know.
and the eternal nature of all of us. So
Mm.
it's beautiful,
Mm.
beautiful.
Mhm.
So, and I don't know what to say about our to being together today because now we are inside of such a place that some of the words will disturb the very nature of what we're really talking about. But I don't know. There is anything that we wanted to be together in the continuity of our gathering today. Nancy, do you have any ideas, or Ellen, or any of us about?
Couple,
Yeah.
couple. I want to celebrate Ellen's hair.
Yeah, I just noticed that. That's
I
crazy.
love, I love it. It is beautiful.
It's an upliftment,
Yes.
it's an upliftment, and I realize that it's not just for me, it's for whoever is
Yeah, it's
here for me.
lifting us
But
all
but
up.
I wanted to get back to that feeling in my heart that Martha has
Mhm.
brought and that Carol was talking about. I think that deepness and that touchingness is really what, this practice is about. It,
Yeah.
it really has, for me, been that kind of depth that you have to go to to really share.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's not a it's not superficial at all what we do here. And I think that is a celebration in itself. So thank you. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're talking about that depth of sharing and how we're allowed to do that here and within Unity in Motion. And the more that we can feel it, the more that we can express ourselves as who we are. And that's what Christiam always told me that Unity in Motion is more getting more and more to yourself, becoming more and more yourself. And how to share that is is you know at first very confusing, but then offering up the movement and offering up the consciousness and offering up all of that is people want that so deeply for themselves.
Yeah.
They want to know how to have that balance and how to have that connection to themselves and how to have that depth of understanding to themselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nancy, did you have something you were going to read today? Or what were you going to do?
I have been uh, actually connected to the 7 realms. And as you know, I have a breathing treatment at night
Mm.
that starts at 4 in the morning
Oh.
and it lasts an hour and a half.
Mm.
And so at that time, a while ago, I decided to stop. It kept wanting to go back to sleep in the middle of it, and you can't do that. So I started to memorize the divine, the booklet, the divine, and I used that time to do it every night for, oh, I don't know, a couple of months to learn it. And then it wasn't that the words gave me all the meanings. It just gave me the words. And then the more you experience those words, the more the words give you the meanings.
Mm.
You begin to come to, and then when I got to the 7 realms, which is the last part of it, I think there's 6 pages of words. The 7 realms is really the entire journey. In fact, that booklet, I would recommend you get it out and reread those words. Just the words. That gives you the entire journey that you're on, that Unity in Motion has brought to us. And it's just like, and then these words, the 7 realms, the depth of them start to come into your life more. Like today was a great meaning of the eternal moment for me, and I think for the rest of us, when Martha expressed her experience with woe, and um, and you want to get the depth of things more and more. That's the way I want, and that happens. And life will give you that, in the moment. And everybody has that experience more and more, especially with this group, of the eternal moment of life, and which I understood Martha talking about today. And she really, at many times during that experience, re-experience the eternal moment of life. It is, and back to the 7 realms, the 7 realms take you to the journey of what unit, all in those 7 realms mean, realm meaning each one has many aspects to the realm, such as celestial light, and how light has touches every single aspect of form. Everything, it's the showering of light constantly on us, and then going into consciousness. Our consciousness raises as we see this. Our consciousness moves way beyond what a lot of people are, because of the reality of it is that we have 100%. And so we find that more and more, but in our finding the eternal wisdom of reality that that life brings us in reality as our eternal moments, right? So, and then it goes all the way through the self as precious and strong. And I think of that as how miracle we have with our all our seven centers, seven senses, you know, seeing and hearing and tasting, and touching and smelling, and the reality of self, the larger self we are, and then it goes into nature, which is all form, and how the form of nature, everything has consciousness to it, and that we have been blessed with a consciousness that we're the only ones that really know we're God. We know that we're God because God's all there is. So here I am, you know, here you are. And then, so the seven realms are fantastic. I am engaging into it more and more all the time. And not because I'm studying something, it's giving it to me little by little. You know, Dr. Bush, the last meeting we had Dr. Bush.
Yeah, I think I sent that through to people, as I don't know if everybody read it, but I sent it. I think I sent it as yeah, I did, because Mary Pat.
Well, it was one. Well, you not only sent it, but you had us listen to it.
Yeah, but I didn't.
And
I
he
didn't
spoke.
have everybody listen to it. I just had you and Christian listen to it at that point.
If you get the chance to read it and be with it, it's wonderful, because
Yes.
it's a perfect expression of the different stages of formation as we coming into the world, into life, and the different stages of transformation that occur through different stages of becoming who we are, and the clarification that every single instant of time is a giving and receiving, disappearing and appearing, in
Yeah.
which we are becoming the design of light that we are.
Mhm.
So each of us is the light of the world, because we are given, our form was created, and our sense of self was created inside of that particular design, individual and whole at the same time. And it's exquisitely beautiful, because it is actually our natural sense of self now. So it's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And the most important aspect is the aspect of eternity. Eternity is the most wonderful thing, because that's what the field is. The field is eternal because it exists with all things. It becomes manifested by the instant of creation. It also becomes renewed in the instant of creation. So there are three things that had happened: manifestation, creation, and being an existence, which then it comes into nature through our sense of self. So we are the source of eternity within each of us. So it's wonderful when we get to experience moments of that, or extraordinary moments, to remember that that particular remembrance within ourselves is actually our natural sense of self, living with life with no separation. So then we live in the eternal nature of life itself, and the idea of our idea of death disappeared from our consciousness, because it never was true. We will always exist in the nature of creation, and that's our source, that's our nature, that's ourselves. So it is important, especially it's important to remember that we are a source of eternity. Since that's our nature, that's who we are. So everything that we see now with the eyes of eternity, not just only looking at it, but connecting to it, being with it. And it's a natural thing that is taking place within the new consciousness. It's very, very important. Remember that we talked about last time or the time before about the gift that we have about giving each other the presence of eternity through our nature. Because then when that presence comes forward, everyone remember everything within the self, because we all carry the original remembrance. And then in that remembrance, we become fully present, and fully present, we are in the presence of love. And then we are in the presence of life as a continuity that never has ceases to exist. And then we be understand, oh, eternity is actually my nature. I live in eternity. And at the same time, I may live in a world that sometimes for a moment is temporal, and it is continuously giving reflexes of coming and going, dual lives, ideas, separations, thousands of reflexes that it got created through the process, and which brought us home here now. But we know already that. So then we are, by the very nature of existence in eternity, allowing every single being, allowing is not the word, by the very nature of being in the presence of eternity that we are, every single being is that as well, because we're bringing it to the surface of life now. Yeah, the surface of life is really actually the presence of God and the presence of light. Yeah, the three aspects of the Trinity. So it's very, very important to remember eternity all the time and live in eternity. Yeah. So anyway,
I think Mary Pat, you and Janet were going to talk about something. You said something about on the.
Oh. Yeah, we had found that we were thinking along the same lines to answer your question about, a request for ideas about or suggestions about what we want to see happen going forward or
Yeah.
offer. And so we both were thinking that it would be, and Janet, if I leave something out, add it in.
I have my piece of paper.
Wow.
oh, how fantastic, fantastic.
Great.
But we love that.
That it would be really nice to, as the talks go forward, to begin each one with all of us doing maybe the first section together, not to, to stop and refine it or anything, but just to
Right.
move and do it together so that we really come into, into the movement, since that's what brought us all together.
Yeah. Oh, what a
And
great idea, Mary Pat. I love that.
into coherence, because that's what it does when we move together, is we become a unity ourselves.
Mm.
Yeah.
And it makes it easier then to take in the words that are said, I think, after, when we all are in that together, have all entered into the energy and the movement, it really, through our bodies, not just talking about it. So I would like to see that happen. The other idea I had was that it might be neat sometimes to just pick one movement. It could be a pathway, it could be a placement, it could just be a movement like the the wave to crown or something, whatever, just pick one and spend maybe the first 10 or 15 minutes of the call being in that together, refining it and talking about how that one particular thing expresses a principle, a wave,
Yeah.
you know,
Geometry and dimension were the
Yeah,
others.
everything
it's so
about that
exciting.
particular movement that, really go into depth it, in that and what our experience is of that, just to really deepen
Mm.
our understanding and experience of just one thing at a time, which of course includes everything,
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely. Sounds like a
fantastic.
wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
And now
Yes,
that to talk, to continue the conversation about that or whatever else we want to get into.
I love that because it deepens then your practice. So when, if we're doing that, it always brings up so many beautiful things. So that would be great.
it's perfect. So I find it perfect.
Yeah.
I have a little complexity myself because I don't have any more space. I only have the space that here where I am now because I don't have the camera anymore in the living room. But I'll do the best I can in the seated place or standing, even though it's a distance, and we'll do it wherever we are. We will be together because I can see the screen wherever we are doing as well, and we just be coherent with each other. I think it's a
Well,
divine
I
thought.
think that's more important than the actual like if we do movement that it's not, as Mary Pat said, it's not something where we're dissecting it or anything like that. But if we present, a movement and then we talk a little bit about how that there's so many things that we've talked about with the 10 dimensions, and then when you start to do the movement based on the 10 dimensions, it has a whole different um, kind of understanding that comes out, for you when you're doing it. So
Yeah.
it says words.
Well, yeah, because once the practice become more and more part of our existence, what we really are doing is a celebration of our connection with everything, to the earth, to the solar system, to the universe, to creation. So it is actually the movement of ourselves. It becomes the movement of our sense of self. It's no longer just like the practice of a movement or going to moon or going to horizon or going all those things. It becomes our union with that particular form of expression that is very unique because it's all within and without of your sense of self. It's not based on any idea about the physical body doing nothing other than the expression of its own essence.
Mm.
And that's it. So,
So
and
beautiful.
even if we do it in the beginning physically in the sense of mechanical, in any degree, we always will flourish into the energetic, into the spatial.
Mm.
The energetic will always be the feeling, and the spatial will always be the consciousness.
Mhm.
And the structural will always be true to itself by the very nature of its three-dimensional connection to a space and the sphere of life. You will always, any of the three directions, you will always be sound in it, and it will always awaken the free more and more. So it sounds like a fantastic idea that we do that. I love it. I love it.
I guess we should. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Did you want to?
I was
I
just.
have.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Just say.
This is kind of bringing in a different subject, but it's all the same subject. So I want to make sure everybody, has said what they want to do on this. But as you all know, I've been working on the new or the website, and it's actually the same as it was. But I have this About Us section now. And now listening to all of you and this incredible depth feeling that comes forward from the group, from every Nancy, that was so beautiful what you're coming forward with, and Mary Patton with all your ideas, and Janet and Martha with that, and everyone has there, it touches such a depth. And I'm thinking the way that I am structuring now this about us thing is, I thought that, we just had this site that kind of grew up out of, it came first of all because a friend of Christiam's put it up, Bentley, many, many years ago in the early 90s. And then when we started doing the movements, it was a place we didn't know for sure how to share the movements at that time. And this was maybe 2010 by that time. We've been doing them for many years and practicing for a long time and all of that. So a friend suggested that we put them up online. And so that's when we started the website. We took the pictures of Christiam, I did, and we got the movement stuff online. And that was like, I think that was, I keep forgetting the years, but I think that was like 2010 or something like that. So we've been doing this for really a long time.
Yeah.
And somehow I had it in mind to share just the history of how it came about. So what I'm doing, what I've done now, actually, pretty much, is just start out with Christiam as a young child in Argentina, and then just coming forward and showing and telling about the story about us. But it seems like so that it doesn't have any depth compared to what we're talking about when we talk about unity in motion. It's just kind of like the facts in a way. So, but I thought that the facts were maybe important, because who knows the
journey.
story,
Yeah.
Do you agree? I mean,
Yeah, no, I mean that journey is so interesting, and it's magical. It may be a
is. It's
fact, but
almost
there's
like a fairy
magic.
tale,
There's
I
magic
mean,
in
the way
everything.
the whole thing
It
evolved.
is. I mean, the way then you had these seminars in Santa Barbara, and everybody came, and it was just, I mean, it's, yeah, it
But
is. It's
then
all magic.
the words that I'm saying, it's kind of like compared to what the feeling is that comes out of unity in motion, it doesn't convey that. So I'm thinking now, even maybe as we're talking, is maybe we could do that like this about us, but then maybe we could have like one page or one section where whoever wants to can share things. Like what Martha shared this morning, or what Nancy shared, or well, all of you have beautiful things that you could say. And that's where unity in motion really lives. There's the story of it, but then there's the reality.
The heart of it.
So I'm just
Carol, if I can make maybe a suggestion, when you deliver the history of everything, when you talk about Christian's beginning, or stories that have been happening, maybe ask him or ask the story person the feeling that they were going through. Like when you're reading a story or a biography, and you hear the person's life, they give a feeling of what was happening in their youth. I was running around, I was biking, I was doing this or that. I felt energized, and I know
that much that I do, I think comes through with Christian. I think that comes through.
Definitely.
And I think that's a very good suggestion.
I don't know. Yeah, absolutely.
It's it's about all of us, but it's kind of, it's not, it's about, I want to say it's about Christian, and it's not about Christian, because it is about Christian, because Christian brought us everything, but then it's about all of us too. So it's the whole thing. It's the whole vision coming through. And anyway, when I get it done and we get it up online, we can talk about it, and we can change things, we can add things, we can make another section. I'm seeing now these words are so powerful, that come from the actual experience. So that's it. And I really thank you, because Bev, this is a very good suggestion, and it is like a story. It is. I mean, and
Martha, I have to recognize, I've been on these talks for a while. I come and go, but tonight the whole group is here. There's 12 people
all of us,
honoring
we
you,
have attendance, full attendance.
And I'm so glad that you were sharing this. I almost called you this morning.
Oh, wow.
And, I need to call you. And I was going to say, try to meet. And then the busyness of the day, I had to get back here. But I think if you look at the whole group here, it's just things just happen. And we were all meant to share this with you. And I send my love.
Thank you.
It's true.
Very sweet.
It's true.
You
It's
know,
fantastic.
part of what
Go ahead.
in terms of what to bring, is Mayor Pat talked about doing some motion. It's the energetic understanding of the concepts. You can put the concepts, the story there, but it's how do you convey? And I think it's through a person saying, what has changed in me, or what have I come to see, or what has the transformation that's happened, and maybe you say, this is where I'm now, this is what I'm seeing now. Little stories like that would really, I think, energize the concepts.
I do too.
People like stories. People
I'm agree. Yeah.
to learn.
I'm agree with you. Yes. I feel like, for me, when Carolina said, I'm going to write this, and I said, of course, it's going to be wonderful, but in my life now, my whole story have become one in the great perspective of consciousness. I don't think I could ever know the story through the pieces of my experience in my life. But when the new consciousness came in, and I recognized that it was there, that is here, that is present, and it was my nature, and I began to download it, so to speak, by opening myself to it, then I began to see that there was no one moment in my life that was not already existing as a design that brought me to this moment in my life.
Right.
So then it was fantastic, because in each moment represented many, many, many events from many years and many stories in the world of theater and the world of forever. But the reason that it came to be in this moment in my life is, I think, because through all the stories, I always knew that the stories had a deeper meaning than just the moment itself. It wasn't that I did not experience, but it was to unleash in me the understanding of something larger, something larger of that which was occurring. So that was the driven force of my life. I'm always said I would like to really be able to understand my feelings, and I will be able to understand my experience. So I have a cohesive understanding of consciousness in myself, and then I can be connected to life in a form that is not just like a dream that leaves and disappear into another form of consciousness, but it reconnects to the moment of existence from which I become reborn as a human then or fulfill as a human, so then I can live not only as a human, but the cosmic part of myself that I always pursue. And it was a little bit inside of the imagination, because in the experiential part of the linear modality of my consciousness, the only thing that I have about my cosmicity was my imagination. I didn't know until I entered the consciousness that the imagination was just a little tool compared with the actual experience of being part of my cosmic self. Because for the first time, inside of me, the cosmicity surfaced to the moment, and I see, it's really me, no matter, even though I think it's futuristic or it's another dimension, it's all me inside of this larger picture that I was always searching. So then what happens then, the third aspect, which was the connected with the whole field, give me a sense of rebirth. But the rebirth is not the right word, because it was the part of me that always existed, but I could not experience it because it was always innocently inside of the pieces of my own story or my own human unfolding. And the consciousness could never allow me to be in the totality of myself in any time, because it was always the story of the story searching to find a way out or a larger way. So for me, it wasn't until the consciousness came into existence and the great perspective that then allowed to understand me for the first time inside of the whole story. And that was an event, because it freed me completely from an identification of achievement and allowed me to see that the totality of the story was nothing other than the natural connection to my essential human self. And by what I mean by that, that I am a God inside of the totality, but I am the most innocent and simple human being inside of my human natural self. So I have the two parts of me, the totality that is simple and the totality that is whole. And that's what I decided that I wanted to share with you, because I know for sure that each of us have the totality of the story, because if I have it, all of us have it. And the only reason to get to the totality of the story is because the totality of the story opens the field for the whole comprehension of the story, which is very beautiful, because it is accompanied by an enormous amount of love, because you live all that emotion as a human. It's accompanied by an enormous amount of understanding, because many human experience through all time has always searched for the meaning of everything. So all that exists within the feeling, within the mind, and now with the physical reality, with the last. The physical reality became the last, because the physical reality became our communion with reality, instead our physical communion trying to understand what reality is. Completely different. Completely different. Our communion with reality is that for the first time, we don't have any age. We are not going to die. All the story disappear, because we are eternal. So I don't need to go back to the memory and say, well, what happened? What dimension? Where are you going to go? How do you know? All those things are all meaningless, because life is eternal. And when I was given life, I was given life in order to recover the essence of my being. So then that was the purpose of life. God, life, and being. That's the way life is the gift that we were given to be able to uncover the totality of the story and made it simple, because we are in eternal time. But also the simplicity is an extraordinary whole design that we call the great perspective.
Christian,
Yes.
then I'm coming back to the website again. It's on my mind. So what you're talking about is the totality, you know,
Yes.
the totality. So what I'm thinking about with the website and what I want to convey is that the totality is already there. The website is actually complete. You know, we can do whatever we want to with it, and we can go in and we can, you know, look at one path, and or we could look at one dimension, or we could look, but it's all there. And that's what I had in mind is like tell the story about how it came, and here it is,
Yes.
you know.
That's
And
it.
then
That's it.
inside of that, then it can open out more than it has. If you know, like you were saying, Martha and Bev, and that is like the personal nature can open out from that, but it's all there.
So
We don't really have to add anything to it as far as I can see, because it was a total vision. And this is the punchline of the whole thing. And to see if you agree or don't agree, or if there's discussion of it or what. But what I see it as now, looking back, is Christian started out with the Kabbalah. That was the first vision that he had after he came back from Jerusalem, after he had, you know, this ecstatic experience in the temple there. He saw the Kabbalah. He saw how the Kabbalah fit onto the human form. And so then, in order to kind of to understand, that's when the first graphics came. You know, there was a Kabbalah, the human form, and then there was the figure of the static balance and the three-dimensional balance, the one, Ellen, that you know was like, and then there were the three interpretations of balance, you know, the one in the center and one on each side. So these figures, these graphics started coming at that time, but they formed the basis of movement, really.
Yes.
That was coming. It was coming. But then it was the movements that came that helped us. This core group that we have, this small group that we have, it was the movements and all of us doing them together that was opening up the scene, kind of like, we didn't know it at the time, but that's what was happening. And then it was an amazing thing, because we got the movements, we were practicing them, we were refining them, we were doing all sorts of things. And then COVID came. And because of that, we couldn't get together and do the movements. But guess what happened? Something completely different. It was a big surprise. It was the 10 dimensions, you know, and that started coming in at that time. And so one by one, it's like we didn't plan it ahead of time, but one by one, these dimensions started coming out of these meetings.
yes.
From Christian, you know, the first dimension, second dimension, third dimension. When already, oh, there's 10 dimensions. So anyway, that is like this story. And in my mind, it can be seen in this way. I don't think it has to be seen in this way, but I think it can be seen in this way, that it is the completion of the Judeo-Christian tradition. Because it starts out with the Kabbalah, it places the human being inside of the Kabbalah, and
Yes.
it makes each human being the Messiah. You know, and that has been clear. That has been a way that I have looked at it through the years, and I would be interested to know if that seems like a logical way to look at it, but it doesn't have to be looked at in that way. That's the beautiful thing of it. You don't have to look at it in any specific way. But it is a total vision. You know, it started at one place, and then it's like all of us at the end, it's like, well, there's really no more to write.
Well, and the completion being the completion, you know, then we're free to move on from whatever that restriction was,
Yes.
and allow the newness to come through, and that's really what people need and want. They really do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're in the new moment. We're in
That's
the,
it. I mean, we no longer, you know, it's like people will say to me, "Well, why did you teach this or why did you learn this?" And I'm like going, "Why?" I mean, honestly, I just I know this. You know, I have the ability to teach you this, and that's what I'm here for. I'm not here to do other things. If I were here to do other things, I'd be doing them. But and there's plenty of people out there that will do those other things for you, you know?
Yeah.
That's not
I,
why I'm here. Yeah.
I, and I think that the most important thing for me, and that I always have inspired me, is that when my mind begins to become more and more in the presence of wholeness, even just to be momentarily into a moment of epiphany or a spiritual moment of elevation or a moment in which my heart opened, all those things were actually beautiful. But I always said, I don't want the experience to be something that I recount. So I need to really make this experience, if it's real, to be constant.
So
Mm.
So,
what?
and I don't want to talk about it from the conceptual idea. It has to have a physical connection, so that memory, that story, that consciousness exists within the physical world.
Mm.
Mhm.
So it doesn't exist inside of an ethereal world or a philosophical world or a spiritual world. So every time I say no, 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 then the movement became more and more and more the foundation from which then the emotional body could really release itself inside of the movements and match the love
Yes.
that sometimes is almost impossible, because in the spiritual traditions or the feelings, the love is so extraordinary that you feel at any one moment you're going to blow up yourself into pieces. But when a physiological nature show you the feel of love and you integrate it, love becomes the natural sensation of yourself. It's not a phenomenon anymore. It's not an extraordinary. It is, but it is no longer becomes like in a story of something transcendental. It becomes something natural. And then when the physiological release the natural of love, then the mind realigns itself. And when it realigns itself, at least in my mind, it sifts through all the thousands and thousands of things that I studied, that I learned, that I searched, and put it into a very simple state that allow me to live inside of the sphere, having the depth of all the things that I may learn of the history of my humanity has said it. But I didn't need them in the moment of life, because I needed to live life in the simplicity that correspond my connection to all humanity, my feeling with all things, and my understanding of all things, but living in the future, not the future projected by the past, but the real future that exists as a reality, which we call the atomic reality itself. Because then the physical existence becomes really real by living in the futuristic sense of self that we are. Because it becomes really physical, Physical means natural, meaning like really physical. And
We've
then it's
left the
wonderful for us.
story.
I'm
We've
sorry,
left the
Dan.
story.
I'm sorry, Dan.
We've left the story and we're in the moment.
Yeah, we live the story and we live in the moment. We like to be in the reality itself. And each of us get to download the natural holographic imprint that it was inside of ourselves. And it was always maybe a little bit covered by the free interpretations, the spiritual, the conceptual, and then the physical being divided, blah, 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 forever. And now here we are together. So it is fantastic. So that's my most immediate desire, is to share with you whatever I can do in any degree to assist through the divine as well, to open the doors for your futuristic self, which is nothing other than the entire memory of creation that you have within your heart.
Well, and you know
The
what?
entire memory of creation that you have within your heart already. You are like a flower.
This is what Martha found with Walt.
Exactly.
That's exactly that moment that you described. That's exactly it.
That's it. That's it. Yes. Yes. And that would be for Martha. That would be it's a divine thing, because that was the gift that Walter gave you. Yeah. You can talk. Walter here, but in reality, Walter was your love, your connection to a partner and everything. So he gave you the moment of recognition of your eternal self. Yeah. Forever now, and then you will expand in that more and more and more, because the linear mind, it gets complex a little bit, because it doesn't know what to do with eternity. It doesn't know what to do with eternity, because it cannot create through the concept in order to create reality. The eternal mind that we are, it is the existence, and then it has a conceptual, if you want to express it, but it is already inside of that field, inside of love, inside of physiological nature. But it's a different nature, because it doesn't, it's just completely different. It's just because the real essence that is your humanity matches the love that you always have through all the billions and billions of human incarnations to be in the presence of God. That was the reason that, the tradition told us that we were forever reincarnated. The only reason that we incarnated forever, because it's an aspect of nature, but to be able to connect with ourselves, with God, not as a God here and me there, but in the presence of creation. Fantastic. The futuristic nature of your being, the futuristic nature of my being is so large inside of it, because it carries the essence of all the fantasies of all the things that we created, and movies and everybody and the leaders and the world and the philosophers and the spiritual masters and the connection to religion and everything. All those were like the story and paraphernalia, if you may, that only becomes real through you and your humanity. And then your humanity is much larger than all those stories, because you get to experience the moment, your futuristic self and reality, and then we are free from the dream. Because in the dream, we're always trying to get to it, get there. In the reality, you can't get to it. You are in it. We are in it. So anyway, so this is what happened. So this is what we are being with it. And that's why we are meeting with each other and all those things, to discover more and more. And then if we can talk about it, even if it's just simple, because the simplicity is, okay, today I am seeing a flower and it's beautiful. It can be just as wonderful. Or today I just got a moment that I saw the moon for a moment, and I got transported in the rotational nature of the moon in relation to the sun for a moment. And I said that I'm living in that too, at the same time that I'm in the house, cleaning the house and doing all those things. So I get to live all those worlds at the same time. And then each of the world has their own gift to us, because it uncovers the entire knowing and feeling and existence of each of us. So anyway, so I think that we will do, that's what we'll do. And if you feel like writing something or saying something or questioning something or not questioning anything or doing, just do it. Yeah, I encourage you.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to say something. Nan, Carol, you've put so much work into all of this for us. I mean, of course, Christiam's the center of it all, if you like, however we want to describe that. But you have from the beginning just done all this magical work, and you're continuing it. And thank you for doing this, all that you're doing continually.
Well, thank you.
It's true, no? Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
it's like Ellen says, we all know what our jobs are. Yeah.
We all have, well,
It's been very clear what my job has been, and it's
Thank goodness. Thank
it's been
goodness.
a privilege.
yes,
Thank
But
goodness for you.
I see it as a completion, not as a completion that something is like finished and over, but a completion that comes into something new, that of all the work all of us have done, all of us.
yes.
And
Each of you.
I got this realization a few weeks ago when we were having a meeting, is that I didn't really realize how we all have contributed so perfectly ourselves to this. I mean, we didn't even know we were doing it. But all those workshops and all of that, just by being who we really are,
Yes.
we really are an essential part of Unity in Motion. We are.
Yeah.
All of us.
Can you imagine that
You know,
all of us went into
Mary
one
Pat and
thing?
Janet teaching right now, and Nancy is always with her, never for a moment let up with it, ever since the first moment. And all of us, no matter what it seems like we've been doing, we've all been contributing an essential part, each one of us, to this. So thank you,
Each of us.
Yeah.
Each of us is the instrument of the new consciousness. Each of us is the essence of the new consciousness. Each of us is the presence of the new consciousness. Each of us is the only possibility for the new consciousness to exist. Because you are without consciousness, nothing exists. Without your awareness, nothing is. So in reality, each of us were engaged in this voyage that we did together. And when coffee came, then we went into the Zooms and we all manifested together the information of the dimensions. I talk about it, but each of us was part of it through question, by the very present, by everything. And we manifested this expression that we call unity in motion together. I was just a laborer. And Carolina, I was a laborer because, like I had to build it, blah, 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 blah. But Carolina was like the one that got all things together and make sure that everything merged and so forth. And then Nancy became like, okay, this about this and this and the question and more and more and more and more. So each of us was instrumental. Martha, you too, with your extraordinary intellect that you have. Lois, with your desire to really be helpful and to be of service and to be yourself, your spirit. All of us, I can go through each of us. We all created, Ellen, everything. We all manifested that which exists, and I cannot say that I did, because it's not true. We did it together. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm forever will be indebted.
Thank goodness for us. Yeah.
I know, isn't that wonderful? It's important to see. It's important to really give yourself, like, embrace yourself and say, "Oh my God, we did it."
Movement practice.
Yes, we did it. We did it. Yeah. So anyway, it was just divine. It's divine. It's divine. So, Darlene, I love you so much. To all of you, just difficult to say goodbye, blah, 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 blah. The most important thing is that we're going to get together soon, and maybe in 2 weeks and whatever. And then maybe we'll start with that. We find the first section we do together. Yeah. And then I don't know if that day will be the day that we will talk about. We will. I don't know what the word will be.
So 2 weeks is. Let me just look at the timing here. So. Yeah. So it's the 24th. So we're just before Thanksgiving. Will people be around?
I may have family here.
Or you want to wait until Thanksgiving, then the week after, so then we can.
Right. So
Every-
that would be December 1st.
That sounds wonderful. So just to clarify, Mary Pat and Janet, so then what we're talking about, we practice the first section, and then I'm not clear when it gets to the moment that each of us talk talk about one movement that I don't know if we need a little coaching to know more how do we approach it.
I was thinking that was that would be, like another meeting, like we would have.
Like another meeting. Okay,
Yeah.
fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right.
And I think that that bringing the practice into it is really wonderful because I find out new things every time I do practice. It talks to me in different ways, and I'm so happy that I have it. I'm so happy that I have it.
Wonderful.
It's
Wonderful.
unbelievable.
We learn as we go.
Yeah, are.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll do it. So fantastic. I love you. So I'll see you in 3 weeks then.
Happy
Yes.
Thanksgiving, December 1st.
December
December
1st. Oh
1st.
my God.
I know.
Yeah, I would
Love you
would
all.
dress as Santa Claus. No,
We move
I
it
love
forward.
it. Be fun, okay? I love you all. Thank you for everything. And here we are.
Thank you, everybody.
Good to see everybody. Yeah.
And continue. Here we are and
Great.
continue.
It was fantastic.